So we remember what happened at the end. Gets down to heads up.
Yeah.
You and Dom. You've got a 3 or 4 to 1 chip lead at the time.
Yeah.
Then the 8-3 happened. Explain your thinking to everybody. I told you outside I agree with that play.
The reason why I pushed with the 8-3, the hand before, Dom was really crazy. You know, short-handed, very, very aggressive, and you know, tough to play against, especially with his stack.
Right.
And I was thinking to myself, I wasn't going to be pushed around heads up, and I pretty much knew I had to play any 2 cards. He'd already pushed us off a couple of pots, and I was determined not to let him chip up, if you like. At the time, he was down to about 10 big blinds. The blinds were 10 and 20,000, and he had about 200,000. So my thinking was, you know, I knew how much he wanted the trophy. He'd been speaking to us about it. And my thinking was just squeeze him and keep. I thought, while I've got this big stack, keep the pressure on him. You know, make sure my money goes in first to stop him. You know, getting his money in with there, and just try and constantly put the pressure on him. I knew if I was cold, it was an ugly hand to go to showdown with. But you know, I figured that heads up, I can't be that big an underdog. You did make the call with, I think he had ace-5 of hearts. You know, I doubled him up, and. You know, a little disappointed, but the reason behind it was he had about 10 big blinds, and I wanted to keep the pressure on him, and I didn't want him to think that he could, you know, just completely run us over. So. And
plus the fact you've kind of got a free shot at him there, because if you lose, you've still got a chip lead on.
That's right, yeah, exactly. I knew that, you know, exactly. I knew I was still going to have, you know, a chip advantage over him if he was going to win the flip, and as you say, you know, I could end the tournament there and then, you know, with hopefully live cards, which there were. But.
Well, then it comes down to the last hand.
Yeah.
The board comes down to the turn. The jack comes on the turn, if I remember rightly. Did he bet? Or did...
What happened was it was an ace high flop, which was checked. I was first to act. I checked the ace high flop to him. He checked behind us. I'm certain at this point that Dom doesn't have an ace. He's so aggressive. Yeah. There's no way he's not raising with an ace unless it's aces, unless he's trapping, you know. But, you know, heads up, very unlikely. So I'm 90% happy he doesn't have an ace, if not more. Jack hits the turn, and I check to him again. I know he's aggressive. I know he's going to go for the money in the middle, and I'm fully expecting him to take a shot. Effectively, to me, I've got top pair because I'm completely ruling out the ace. So as soon as the jack falls, I know it's my card. As it happens, it was the jack of spades, which had given Dom a flush draw. Dom bet 60,000, and I moved in on him.
Did he have a straight draw as well?
He had, yeah, he tabled, I think he had 8-3 of spades. He eventually made the call with 8-3 of spades, which the board had read 9-10 jack. So he was up and down straight draw with a flush draw as well. So he had a lot of outs. And I remember praying to the dealer to put a brick on the river. And the brick came, and they done a chip count.
Did you know you had him covered then?
No, I didn't. I was in shock. I knew it was a formality at this point, but I didn't want to get carried away.
I remember looking at you actually and thinking, he's not jumping around yet, so I don't think he quite knows whether he's got him out or not yet.
They'd done a chip count at the end of that hand. There was 1,080,000 chips in play, and after the chip count, I had him covered by 7,000.
Wow.
So, you know, at that point, you know, I let out a bit.
Then we saw a bit of emotion.
Yeah, a bit of emotion, and you know, I'd done it. So
great, fantastic, and obviously, you know, dead excited and whatever. What's your plans for the future?
To be honest, Steve, you know, pretty much the same as, you know, I'm going to be, you know, playing online like I usually do. You know, I'll still play the monthly games, the 75s, the £100 Grosvenor, you know, just the games what I enjoy, you know.
Take it you'll be back for the next legs of these ones, though.
I'm going to play Nottingham 100% because I'm working. I mean, it's difficult with them being, as I get further south, it's difficult getting back for Monday morning on the assumption that I may go deep again. But hopefully I'm going to try and play the last 3 legs of the Coral British Masters, just try and reinvest a little bit of the money into it, and you know, give the last 3 legs a shot and see if I can do anything, you know. I've got an 8-man sit-and go to look forward to in Bristol in October, November time, for effectively a £10,000 sponsorship package next year. So, you know, that's really exciting, as you know. So I'm, you know, really looking forward to that, and want to try and keep my toe in the big game, you know, whilst I can this year. And you know, we'll see how the back end of the year goes next year. You know, if things, you know, don't work out, then, you know, it's as things were, you know. You know, I'll keep my feet on the ground. You know, it's an excellent achievement, and you know, the achievement isn't lost on us. But at the same time, you know, I have a wife and 2 children. You know, I have a full-time job, and you know, at the minute they are my priorities. You know, if I get 2 or 3 more trophies, then, you know, I'll consider my options. But I'm not expecting that to happen for, you know, I'm not expecting that to happen at all, to be honest.
Well, it's about time to wrap it up. Can I just say thanks for coming in?
Thanks, Steve.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
And you did the whole of the MPF proud, and you did yourself proud.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was Mark Trett, winner of the Teesside leg of the Coral British Poker Masters. See you all again soon. Nice.